The crisis in Gaza shows little sign of easing, even with Donald Trump heralding a major breakthrough on Friday, specifically that Hamas had agreed to lay down its weapons. Hamas says it will only do so if Israel upholds its side of the deal and commits to stopping attacks across the Strip and also withdraws its forces from large swathes of territory. Now, at the time, the US president said Israel was on board with this proposal. He later followed it up by saying Israel believed it was a good deal. But the public statements which have come from senior members of the Netanyahu government and senior officials working behind the scenes suggest that it is anything but the prevailing view within the government, that this is seen as a shifting of the goalposts, that Israel is only going to do things such as withdraw its forces after Hamas has disarmed, not as part of some phased withdrawal process there, and that it will not stop its attacks. There have also been calls from some senior members of the Netanyahu coalition cabinet for Israel to block things or to overturn some of its previous decisions, such as allowing an international stabilization force to enter Gaza and take over security control. Israel's rejection of the situation was demonstrated in its most deadly form with another round of attacks across Gaza over the weekend. Palestinian health authorities reporting 19 people were killed in a 24-hour window, including children. Now, that led to a terse statement from Nikolai Mladenov, the High Representative for Gaza under the Board of Peace, the man picked by Donald Trump to steer diplomacy and negotiations over the future of the war-ravaged Strip. He said 2 days of strikes have killed civilians and destroyed medical supplies that people depend on after intense efforts by the Board of Peace and mediators Egypt, Turkey and Qatar to convince Hamas and others in Gaza to disarm. Nikolai Mladenov adding that both sides, Israel and Hamas, have obligations in this process and that achieving a lasting peace is hard, but it is achievable if everyone makes their best efforts. Now, that's something which is being read as a criticism of Israel for opening fire so soon after Donald Trump was spruiking a major breakthrough. And perhaps it's the reason why Nikolai Mladenov is now taking his comments and his diplomacy directly to the people making these calls, including the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. While there is a sense that the Trump administration has given Israel a fair amount of free rein to manage the war in Gaza as it sees fit, that free rein is limited when it shows the United States up. In other words, when the US president says something and then Israel immediately undermines it, particularly when the result of that is more bloodshed in an already devastated environment.